All right, talk to talk. Make sure to subscribe to the page. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the content. So today I'm going to be talking about LL speaking on Drake and how he feels about the battle. And people were saying LL is very credible because he was the one that coined the phrase GOAT. And yeah, so there's some little bit of history lesson that we can take this journey about LL. Let me get my spill. This is Torture Talk. If you are not subscribed and you're watching this, please consider subscribing. They call me the Hidden Gem. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content that's free. If you want to donate to the channel, links will be on the screen. Cash App will be in the description. Also, too, if you are a beautiful woman, put one in the chat. All my fellas, y'all know where to find the ones at. Just don't harass them. But yeah, man. Yeah, so we're going to get into this right here, LL talking about it. So let's get to it, man. Be back. All right, so let's get it.
Like, this stuff is, this is no different from, LeBron and Steph. It's no different from, Jordan when he was coming in and Magic was going out. Or
you can be the most popular. You can be the most commercially successful. You can be the biggest chart topper, but you can't be considered, the one. Like, Michael Jordan has to play basketball for Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Some people might say, hey, Drake's appropriating this culture of music or, for your own personal gain. How do you feel about those kind of critiques?
It's kind of a similar thing. They're curated by a bunch of people who just weren't on this boat to begin with. Like, even the definition of appropriating a culture is not supporting that culture, doing songs with people who are deeply rooted in that culture, giving opportunity to people who are in that culture. That's not appropriating. Appropriating is taking it for your own personal gain and denying that it was ever inspired from this.
While we all thought
that was a clever way of putting it, but that's technically not appropriating either. I mean, you can do both. You can culturally appropriate something and pretend like you're someone's friend. And this whole notion of you're helping somebody get somewhere, well, it's an exchange, but at the same time, you're really helping yourself more than you help them, because they give you the idea. Because that's like walking into a restaurant. You never cooked this food before, an Italian restaurant, and you're hanging around Italians, and then finally you start to use the methods that they have gave you to cook this spaghetti. You know what I'm saying? And then you start giving it to other people. I wouldn't say that that's cultural appropriation, but at the same time, am I really helping them? Yes, I'm giving it out to people that probably never tasted this food before. But at the same time, they gave me something because I didn't know. So that's what people were talking about with you, Drake. Like, just because you help somebody, they helped you as well. I would argue that they helped you even more because you didn't even know about it. You didn't know about the culture like that. They brought you into the fold. You were just popular, and you were the vessel that they had to use to get. It's like you were the industry. You was the industry, and they got on from you. Everybody wants to get on through the industry, and what does the industry do? They culture appropriate all the time.
the dust had settled on the whole Kendrick versus Drake drama, LL Cool J just couldn't resist putting his 2 cents in on the whole colonizer or colleague debate. Now, you're probably wondering, why on earth is LL Cool J getting involved in this beef? Well, in case you didn't know, LL is the trailblazer who laid down the blueprint for Drake's whole shtick, mixing rap with R&B. Back in the day, LL was the king of blending heartfelt R&B vibes with hard-hitting rap bars, and LL himself said that he believes he paved the way for Drake's rise to the top. So what exactly did LL say about Drake's rivalry with Kendrick and the whole culture vulture conversation? Let's break it down.
Who's the GOAT right now, Drake or Kendrick?
Well, you talking about the battle?
Yes.
I mean, Kendrick won the battle. I mean, come on. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
How LL made Drake. Back in 1984, LL Cool J was the very first artist to be signed by Def Jam, and his debut single, I Need a Beat, was the track that helped Def Jam score a distribution deal with Columbia. And if you thought that was the peak, think again. LL's debut album, Radio, dropped in 1985, and it wasn't just any album. It was the
Hey man, listen, don't be throwing this nigga up on the screen with no shirt on. I'm trying to get my abs like that one day. Don't be throwing no nigga up here. I have to edit that shit out. Oh man, that's funny.
very first project released by Def Jam. And let's not forget, LL Cool J didn't just stop at being a music icon. He's the genius who popularized the term GOAT, or greatest of all time, in hip-hop. With over 13 million records sold, and remember, that's mostly from the pre-streaming era, LL solidified his status as a superstar.
The last of the red hot loving MCs, looking for a little, that's my theory. Ladies love long, hard, and lean, and now you know what LL means.
When I find you, I'ma pour all my love inside. I need love. Anybody want to come up?
Come on. That's a classic, but bro. His voice was cracking and shaking. Listen to his voice. That shit classic funny. Damn.
Didn't just stop at being a music icon. He's the genius who popularized the term GOAT, or greatest of all time, in hip-hop. With over 13 million records sold, and remember, that's mostly from the pre-streaming era, LL solidified his status as a superstar.
The last of the red hot loving MCs, looking for a little, that's my theory. Ladies love long, hard, and lean, and now you know what LL means.
When I find you, I'ma pour all my love inside. I need love. Anybody?
Yo, that old head chick, she was feeling it. She had a hand up. She was feeling it. Oh shit. Shit funny. Let's go.
Want to come up here with me?
Everybody needs love. Only suckers are scared of love.
LL also scooped up numerous awards during his
Hey, yo, that nigga said, only suckers scared of love. It's a lot of suckers out here, nigga. Dang it, let's go.
career. In 2017, he made history as the first rapper to ever receive the prestigious Kennedy Center honors. And in 2021, LL was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And even though LL hasn't dropped any new tracks since 2013, his influence hasn't been forgotten, and many rap icons openly admit they owe a lot to LL.
LL Cool J is hard as hell. Yeah. So what does LL really stand for? Ladies love, living large, licking lips. Well, I'm here because I personally think it stands for living legend. L, do you remember a story you told me about?
You know, the crazy thing is about LL. I remember when I first seen LL, he was in, I think it was Breaking. It was Breaking. Oh, Crush Groove. It was Crush Groove. He was in Crush Groove. You never seen Crush Groove, you gotta go check it out. It's a classic 80s or late 80s movie or whatever. People be doing break dancing and all that stuff. And he was the guy that came in there and he turned his radio on and he stopped rapping and they signed him or whatever. And I remember saying to myself, like, is this a real rapper? Because if it is, he's gonna blow up. He said, I'll take a muscle bound man, put his face in the sand. Like, yeah, I make him go LL and do the bop and all this shit. Like, he was going crazy back then. So let's go.
Leaving Def Jam. You were the first artist on Def Jam. You recorded all of this music and delivered all of these albums. Then fast forward to this, your deal is up. And you told me you were really expecting a really high dope parting gift, right? Do you remember what you told me you got? A cheap watch. Right? Well, now I guess you know what time it is, right? I mean, the folks at Def Jam probably could have done better with their parting gift, but they knew exactly what they were doing when they signed you as their very first act. LL was 17 years old when his debut album came out. It not only put Def Jam on the map, but it launched a superstar. LL Cool J gave us 13 studio albums over 3 decades. How about that? He went from the sonic brutality of Mama Said Knock You Out to a silky ballad like I Need Love, right? And also smooth R&B and pop influenced songs like Around the Way Girl, Doing It, Going Back to Cali, I Don't Think So. L, you know that old hip hop term, right? It ain't where you're from, it's where you're at, right? Where do you live now, LL? California.
But while the rap legends have no issue giving props to LL, some of today's artists, who are clearly riding his coattails, aren't showing him the love he deserves. So let's talk about Drake. See, there's a solid argument that LL was the original blueprint for Drake's style. In a 2020 interview with Complex, LL opened up about his 1987 hit, I Need Love, one of the first rap songs to go all soft and sensitive. He dished about the backlash he faced when the track dropped, saying there was a lot of friction at the time. Back then, it was really conservative, and if the energy wasn't testosterone, like I'm punching you in your face, kicking the door down, you don't get a lot of credit, LL told Complex.
Well, I think it was a little bit different because LL went from one extreme to the other extreme. He was a rapper who was a battle rapper, and then he switched extremely over to I Need Love on radio, and then what's that? I'm Bad to I Need Love. Like, you know, that's versatility, but at the same time, like, you can understand why people would feel the way they feel. Like, yeah, dog, like, you on one side of this, on this side, now you on this side. Like, yeah. So people felt. So let's go.
In hip-hop, you only get brownie points for creativity within certain parameters. When you try to go outside of that box, if it's anything that's not considered 1000% street, you get no credit. LL was then asked to comment on the comparisons between him and Drake, and he quickly dismissed it, saying, "We're very different artists because I have a lot of hard records and I'm very diverse. But in that aspect of my career, it paved the way for guys like that." Now, both LL and Drake have been accused of going soft or selling out because of their women-centered songs. But unlike Drake, LL never let those soft comments get under his skin. Instead, he embraced it. When asked in a 2013 interview to comment on I Need Love being a soft song, LL said, "It's not soft, it's the truth. Love ain't soft, man. It's just a part of life." So it sounds like Drake should have taken a page from LL Cool J's playbook. But instead of staying true to the image that shot him to stardom, Drake let the critics get to him. Suddenly, he started doing too much trying to prove he was tough, overcompensating, rapping about mob ties, and trying to sell this image of being a certified street dude. And then Drake took it a step further and started comparing himself to the likes of Michael Jackson and declaring himself the GOAT of rap. After Kendrick won the beef by popular vote.
Oh, man. You compare yourself to Michael Jackson? Come on, bro. That's the thing, Drake. It's not just about hits that made Michael Jackson who he was. Like, you gotta understand, people like you. I mean, but Michael Jackson was like, he was the next closest thing to Jesus Christ. Like, you ain't that, homeboy. That's like once in a lifetime thing. Like, you ain't that. Like, you gotta understand, like, it's just crazy.
Drake decided to delete several IG posts promoting his diss tracks against Kendrick, including Family Matters and The Heart Part 6. And then he shared several photos of himself at his son Adonis's soccer game, with the caption, "Goats don't worry about one-trick ponies." But see, if you ask LL Cool J, there's one important reason why Drake can't be considered the GOAT, at least not by LL's definition of the term, the GOAT debate. The acronym GOAT, or greatest of all time, is believed to have its roots in the hip-hop scene of the 1990s, and it was LL Cool J who really put it on the map with his 2000 album titled GOAT. In an interview with Change the Game TV, LL spilled the beans on how he came up with the term and gave it its iconic status. LL said, "I got the term from two people. First of all, Muhammad Ali obviously said he was the greatest of all time. So I got it from Muhammad Ali, and then there was a street ball player called Earl Manigault, but they call him the GOAT. So I just decided that I was going to take GOAT and greatest of all time and make an acronym. That's when I dropped my album in 2000. I called it GOAT, featuring the greatest of all time. I had no idea that it was going to become part of the lexicon." The term GOAT didn't just stay within the hip-hop realm. It made a splash in mainstream culture. It became a hot buzzword in sports circles, especially on social media. Fans and analysts alike started calling the top athletes in their fields the GOAT, sparking endless debates and discussions about who truly deserves the title. Now when it comes to hip-hop GOATs, LL Cool J believes the definition is pretty straightforward. You can't even think about being in that league if you don't write your own lyrics.
Can you be considered a GOAT if you didn't write your lyrics?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, if you're going to go by the original rules, you can't.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going to go by the original rules of hip-hop, you absolutely cannot.
Okay.
You can be the...
Yeah, that's some of the realest shit I heard. You cannot be the GOAT if you go on by the original rules. I know a lot of people don't think the original rules actually matters anymore, but they do. And for you to say that you are the best ever, but someone is penning your work, it's like me saying I'm the best artist and I never drew none of the pictures. I never painted none of them. None. But I'm saying it's like, yeah, you know, it's crazy.
Most popular. You can be the most commercially successful. You can be the biggest chart topper, but you can't be considered, you know, the one. Like, you know, Michael Jordan has to play basketball for Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he can't send LeBron out to play and then he sits on the bench and gets the points on his board. You know what I'm saying? The points go to his stats.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
I like that. That's the analogy I've been needing right there. That's the analogy I've been needing.
You know what I mean? So you got to write your own joints.
Now, as you probably know, Drake has faced ghostwriting allegations pretty much his whole career. However, what's arguably even worse than using ghostwriters is Drake Latanalty stealing flows and bars from other artists like XXXTentacion or Big Draco.
I was talking to her at the time, and she was like, yo, listen to, no, actually, it was my dog, Chris. I was on the phone with my dog, Chris. He was like, yo, you gotta listen to this Drake a fuck. So exactly what he said. Like, this Drake a you gotta listen to this. So he plays it. I hear da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, what the f? As soon as it started, like, I knew he was getting that. And the funny thing is, we didn't discover it. The fan, like you said, the fans, because they're so cold. It's like, I got a piece of the internet, you feel me?
So they were saying that Drake was biting your style. That's what the fans were saying.
Yeah. Flow, hell yeah, bro. You could take his verse, like they did a mashup. They put his verse on my song, and the cadence is literally just at the same tempo.
Stop telling me like I ain't teach Drake everything he know.
Hold on, you taught Drake everything he know.
Y'all ain't hear Drake on his first song? Tell me what's really going on. Drizzy Drake back in this thing already. That's Soldier. That's my bar. He copied my whole.
That gets me through the phone.
He copied my whole. Oh,
that's crazy. That's, bro.
For what? For bars.
Oh.
Don't act like make Drake do that.
So yeah, the fact that Drake still refers to himself as GOAT is a pretty bold move on his part. But what about the whole culture vulture narrative? How does the original Drake, LL Cool J, feel about that? Colleague or colonizer? So when it comes to the drama between Kendrick and Drake, LL Cool J tried to steer clear of the gossip, and he didn't want to comment on all the wild allegations Kendrick leveled against Drake in his diss tracks. However, LL didn't hold back on his opinion either, and he made it crystal clear that Kendrick Kendrick completely outshined Drake and obliterated him lyrically.
Who's the GOAT right now, Drake or Kendrick?
Well, you talking about the battle?
Yes.
I mean, Kendrick won the battle. I mean, come on. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
As for the culture vulture allegations, LL recently clapped back at Drake's lapdog DJ Academics after Academics claimed that old school hip-hop heads are dusty. That's when LL decided to clear some things up and said, a DJ basically said that a lot of the pioneers in hip-hop, they're dusty. Or how can they be the person that invented hip-hop if they don't have a lot of money? Or if they don't represent like they have a lot of dough? Let me explain something to you. Don't think just because somebody knows how to get money or fails to get money that they didn't make a contribution to the culture. LL went on to say that no one discusses Miles Davis's bank account or John Coltrane's bank account, and he pointed out that a lot of rock and country musicians are considered the greats without their bank accounts being questioned. LL added, this idea that you have to have money or else you don't have any value is a bad idea, and it's a misinformed way of looking at the world and the culture. And this is exactly why fans are now saying that Drake is totally off base with the whole GOAT narrative. Sure, he might be the GOAT when it comes to streaming numbers or raking in cash. But when it comes to the true essence of a hip-hop GOAT, most music connoisseurs will tell you Drake doesn't even come close. One fan said, please educate these young folks. LL has longevity. He has hip-hop, rock, and love songs. And he wrote his ish. And someone else added, you can't be the greatest when you don't write your own words. You're just a mule when you're using somebody else's lyrics. But what's your take on this GOAT debate? Do you agree with LL Cool J that you can't be GOAT if you don't write your own stuff?
Yeah, man. Can't really say nothing too much to LL Cool J, man. He's one of those guys. He's solidified, 100%. You know what I'm saying? Might not like all his music, but he's definitely one of the pioneers, one of the guys. And I would say that he had, 13 albums. That's a hell of a career. Most people can't even tell you they had 3 or 4 albums. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, the guy's I believe he's almost like 60 years old. I believe he is. You know what I'm saying? And he's still in shape, still out there. You know what I'm saying? I heard something that he did with Eminem recently. And I'm like, what? It's like the old heads, man. They still rapping better than the young dudes. So I don't know. But did Drake take the blueprint from him? I mean, I would probably lean more towards Lauryn Hill because I think Drake kind of like really went more her way than LL. I think LL, just because he did I Need Love and some sensitive songs, or doesn't mean that, but I think Lauryn Hill, she tried a lot of different things, and I think Drake did the same thing, you know what I'm saying? So, but I can understand why people would say that LL had the blueprint. I can understand that. So, but yeah, man, thank y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all. See y'all. Peace. Bye.